The new update has been confirmed for us on Global. 2.20. It will have a downtime of about 6.5 hours starting at the usual times. This brings with it the Summer Splash event, which is a combination of both the winter event and the previous Goblin event, allowing us to obtain a decent amount of new rewards and everything that the previous Goblin event had to offer. We have a bunch of performance improvements, a new life skill bag, artifact UI improvements, a load of general fixes here to like potions. You can upgrade skill cores. DaVinci's favor will no longer consume those excess abyss tokens when it runs out. A bunch of changes to Nebula, weapon skills, the Altar of Calanthea raid, spectator mode, and UI updates. So let's go through everything in this video. I have shown most of it earlier, but there are definitely a few new things to note with this update drop, and some things that they concernedly missed. If you saw my initial announcement video of the Summer Splash event, you can see they removed from the Goblin drops the heroic materials. Now these loot goblins will simply drop exactly what they did for us back when we had the original Goblin event for the first time after Tier 2 hit. And this completely nuked the prices of a ton of Tier 2 gear. What it means by hero second level equipment, that is Tier 2 gear translated from the Korean words for it. The Korean version of legendary gear is unique gear. This is not legendary stuff. But this is very good for people catching up, as it will bring back the spectral set, the sacred set, imperial, and so on, all that field boss gear in a much more accessible state. So prices will plummet and they'll be much easier to get. And I'll be able to fully trade out my spectral tunic finally without having to use unlock stones or pay a ton for those traits. The Goblin event will have specific times, and it states here that the area where they can appear is pretty much anywhere. I don't know if this is going to be true for us on Global, as when Tico did talk about this event, he said the goblins would spawn on the beach. So we'll have to look tomorrow. These time slots also seem to align with our Arceum event, so it's very likely we'll get the exact same time slots. 3 times on weekdays, 4 times on weekends. But that's not all for the event. We're getting that PvP Amatoy arena with the ability to get these water coins to buy all these additional items, including upgrade materials and a measly amount of entropy shards and chaos prisms. But most notably is going to be this food, which is going to help getting your mastery when you go out there farming. You can see the food buff down here, 100% weapon mastery and 100% solid. But jumping back to the confirmed global patch notes, you can see that's their little description here of the event, beginning July the 24th, ending August 13th. So a 3-week event. Then we got some performance improvements, awesome to see, large scale combat like Archboss, Field Boss and War Games. These should be a significantly noticeable FPS improvement depending on your hardware setup. And they're also improving the desyncing when you're jumping off cliffs or lifts, etc. As for the inventory, they're adding that life skill bag. I assume this will be relevant also for their upcoming updates, and this is probably why they're doing it now, because they have promised furniture crafting for the new housing system, which is expected in September. We then get artifact UI improvements, making it easier to see the individual stat boosts you gain from them. You can see how that looks on the Korean server here. They added a search functionality that's just up here, all the different stats, and they added the ability to compare between different artifact pieces. So you can select this here, and then if you select a different artifact piece than what you're using, like I right click it here, it'll show you the stat change when you would use this one versus the other, and then it can allow you to equip them all as well. As for the general changes, they supposedly went and fixed the health potion that gives health over time, this one right here. They fixed your Overture wand and the Greatsword's DaVinci's Courage, so you will properly be able to get that heal over time when using Clay's Salvation. For Archboss weapons, the skills cores that you extracted from a tier 1 Archboss weapon can now be upgraded. I had some of you not sure what I was on about, but basically when you get a tier 1 Archboss weapon, you can extract the skill bonus. When you do so, you now have a skill core, and this skill core you will imprint on your legendary weapon. But that's it. If you want to extract a skill core from any of these items, it destroys those items. So you'll be destroying your Archboss weapon. So you will only do that if you want to imprint that skill core onto your legendary weapon. And this new update simply allows you to upgrade that skill core. Therefore, you can go ahead right now and extract that skill from your tier 1 Archboss weapon and already imprint it on your legendary weapon. Keep in mind it has to be the same type of weapon. You can only use staff skill cores on staffs, daggers with daggers, etc. But you will then, at a later date, once you have collected enough of these materials, like for example I wanted to get the upgraded skill core for the Tevent wand, then as soon as I've collected enough ashen fragments, I would now be able to upgrade that skill core rather than waiting that whole time to upgrade the actual weapon. You will most likely have to unsocket that skill core from your weapon, and then it will just end up in the list of skill cores you have available, and then upgrade it, and then the new one will be in your list, and then you can imprint that one on your weapon. And every time you want to imprint a skill core onto a weapon, you do have to spend an imprint scroll, which is quite expensive here with Chaos Prisms. Those you want to always have for growth zones, but you can get one for free from the Battle Pass and otherwise buy them in the Lucent shop here. Now we look at the DaVinci favor changes. The weekly resistance contract missions been updated to actually count when you use 2 of them, so you'll just get that weekly done quicker. And the DaVinci's favors, when you gain the abyssal contract tokens, it will no longer reset your total max. So if you're over the 40,000 tokens, when your DaVinci's favor expires, it will no longer delete them. I had like 45,000, my DaVinci's favor ended, and it put me down to 40,000, which was the max without DaVinci's favor. So this is good. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're getting compensation for that. But then some Nebula changes. You can now purchase the advanced Nebula stones, and you will no longer need Nebula essence. You can dissolve any excess Nebula essence to receive 5 Nebula stones. They've also slightly adjusted the map to remove clutter, and they changed the bosses to now appear at the same time on Sunday in the Nebula Island schedule. They'll keep an eye out for feedback and participation, and maybe adjust it in the future. With the arena, when you complete the weekly mission, it will now automatically grant you the mission rewards. They made it slightly longer before the instance closed so that you have enough time to pick up your loot after the boss is dead. Field bosses will now give you more common runes, and they fixed Peace and Dominion gates for Giant Cordy, despawning after 3 minutes instead of 5. With Delazanoa, the terrain will no longer move, but some of our skills will be more dynamic to still encourage a movement. But then we look at weapon changes. So Dagger simply got a fixed. There was an exploit where you could use Thunderclad bombings and not actually consume your Thunderclad stacks, thus allowing you to spam it more, getting more damage. Crossbow, they fixed concentration stance as it was causing you to auto run towards allies when you had that enabled. Talus staff, they fixed it where being stunned did not trigger the weapon skill. They added the legendary gear to the lithograph book. You can trade a bunch of it in and get unlock stones and conversion stones. They adjusted the names for cooking recipes. They fixed an exploit with legendary gear where you could basically heal up really quick by morph spamming, and guild contracts can now be re-rolled up to 99 times. They also fixed the cosmetics where some of them were dyed in a weird way with regards to the metallic materials not properly displaying as metallic. The shapeshift morph, the Wraith Hound, will now properly be able to climb stairs, and they fixed a graphical resolution scale issue. As for the new raid, simply removing some persistent raid buffs to remove clutter. They fixed the aggro radius of the boss of Calanthea so she won't kill you in the resurrection area. The Archeum Shadowmancer, the first mini boss in Gate 1 I believe. The Fury attack indicator will actually match the attack range. For controllers, they fixed an issue where you couldn't target yourself after a certain mechanic. And with the raid board, they fixed it so that posts will no longer remain after the leader has disbanded the party. There were some slight adjustments to spectator mode and then UI improvements. Nothing too game changing. You'll notice these minor changes when you get to play after the update. Same with the material transmutation, just some minor UI updates, like showing tradable equipment is in your inventory but you can't actually select it. It's not intended to be used in the material transmutator. And they fixed on controller where weapon mastery battle pass bonus reward option could not be selected, and the same with the Vanguard controls. Those of you who do have DaVinci's favor, if you're worried about not gaining weapon mastery while you have this active, well, that is because all of it is getting stored in your weapon mastery level up here. All of it will go right there and you'll want to manually assign it to whatever weapon you want. It's a benefit, and don't freak out that you're not gaining any weapon levels while in those Abyss dungeons. Have a look at the actual benefits DaVinci's favor gives you and make sure you're aware of them before you continue with your purchase. I'm personally not going to continue purchasing it. It can help quite a bit, and if you don't have a lot of time in the game, I do recommend having it. But as long as you can play every day and you don't mind the little bit of extra time you'll need to spend, say doing a few more dungeons because you won't be able to open the chest additional time or complete double the contracts, then yeah, it's just quality of life. It's not necessary for a free-to-play player to fully experience this game. It's just a nice addition that you can make use of. Of course, you can argue I have more than enough Lucent to buy DaVinci's favor for over a year, but I will simply choose not to do so long as I can comfortably play without it. Unfortunately, if you like Spanish, they will no longer be continuing moving forward, updating future content and the websites in Spanish. This content will instead be localized into LATAM Spanish. Oh, it stands for Latin American. So you may have noticed they do not mention the bug fix for Spectrum of Agony. It has been fixed on the Korean server, as I represented in my video yesterday. Put Provoking Roar on your targets and you can attack your target with a ranged attack and trigger that Spectrum of Agony for the additional hits to everybody within 3 meters who has Provoking Roar. But it is not listed in our update notes. It's very likely we will still get that changed, they just missed to add it. But we will have to see. To add to what I said about the corded crossbow in my previous video, I did say it's not going to be as powerful because of that requirement to have to cast Provoking Roar, meaning your targets have to be grouped up before you go ahead and spin. This Provoking Roar, not that big of an area, and the big downside to Provoking Roar is it's a chance to apply and it's a weaken. So people can stack weaken resist and this can simply miss. You do have the tools though to stack a ton of weaken chance, especially via Corrupting Nail from crossbow. So that might be a stat you'll have to build into to keep Cordy crossbow with Sword and Shield as a raider class to be viable. Ultimately, the skill ceiling goes higher as you cannot simply go up to your target and press spin after using your buffs. The big advantage that had was Cordy would pull everybody together, and so when you actually started to spin, everybody could be within that big area of Annihilation Barrage Shot and anybody who got hit got pulled in. Now, in order for this to work properly, they have to be within this area, which is significantly smaller. So it simply requires more setup and the fact it's not going to nuke as many people because there is a cap to how many targets Provoking Roar can hit. I believe you guys were saying it was 8, and you may very well just go with the Cleaving Roar spec because that can then reduce the endurance of your targets. But again, they failed to mention that fix in this update blog, so we will have to confirm and test later whether that will be the case. They have also announced we'll be getting this new skin drop. That's it just here for the female character. The price will probably be different for us on global as well, and it will come with the tidal weapons too. I will showcase them more when the update's actually out. But we also miss this skin, both for the male and female character where you can be a gladiator. Don't know when we're getting that. But that's it for the update. Another massive thank you to the support of my channel members. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys around.